Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this video, I'll be discussing my thoughts on episode 4 of the anime series Shokugeki no Soma ni no Sara, or the Second Plate. And damn, this episode was thoroughly intense, especially as a non-manga reader, not knowing how this was going to play out. I couldn't have predicted in a million years that Takumi Aldini would have his ass handed to him in this Shokugeki matchup with Subaru, this hulking brute who is, I mean, he's all kinds of, as the title suggests, a pursuer. He is very much a stalker, and he gets inside the mind of, his opponents in these Shokugeki matchups, which we find out through the course of this episode, that he has successfully beaten 99 previous opponents, Takumi being his 100th by the end of this episode. And the stipulation has been kind of like, making a Grease reference, racing for pinks, where effectively he wants the tools of the trade from his opponents. He has claimed cutlery and Lord knows what else, even going so far as to steal the Mezzaluna straight out of the Aldini brothers' hands. And I say Aldini brothers because even going back to the previous episode, toward the end of it, as one of my esteemed fellow reviewers pointed out in the comments, he was thoroughly psyching out Takumi by spitting his gum on the Mezzaluna blade, disrespecting his trade, disrespecting his heritage, and then going even further and, basically calling his brother Asami incompetent and trying to get into his mind and break him down, just whittle him away, and that carries over into this episode. And it's despicable, as one of, the judges on the panel actually says over and over again, which, bleeds into a sort of rap music video short, which was actually pretty freaking funny. But even the judge is taking, calling into question, can we allow this? I mean, I know it's a Shokugeki and all, and of course, the elder Nakiri, the devil himself, he basically says, it's the food, it's the recipe, it's the culmination of creating a culinary masterwork that is the only matter. Anything else goes pretty much in a matchup like this. And as we see, Subaru has done his homework to the point of pretty much aligning what Takumi would be creating in this dessert Shokugeki matchup, utilizing everything from lemon flavoring to, sort of a soft serve cake sort of batter and everything like that, only, doing it differently, putting his own master's spin on it. And it's quite interesting. I almost want to get ahead of myself and talk about the post-credits scene between Subaru and, of course, Soma, because, holy hell, Soma... This is the Soma I love, coming to the fore, getting right up in the face of Subaru and being like, I can't respect you in any way, shape, or form. Basically, he's coming to Soma and saying, let's have a Shokugeki of our own, and I want your knife, just like he has claimed 100 other previous, tools of the trade from Shokugeki opponents. He wants Soma's knife. And Soma's like, look, I'll do this. I'll have the Shokugeki with you, but look, pal, you're no chef, you're no specialist, you're no culinary master, you're no artist, all this kind of stuff, because, frankly, all Subaru has been doing, his claim to fame, has been getting in the minds of others and copying them. It's not something he has experienced on his own. So for all of his force, for all of his scariness, for all of his stalkerness and freakiness along those lines, he is very sort of, ineffectual as far as coming up with something of his own. He will no doubt be looking to Soma and trying to figure him out and get inside his mind and try to predict. And I would go so far as to say I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if Soma completely comes up with something original and different and unexpected for Subaru to contend with. It's definitely one of those things, like I say, I couldn't have predicted Takumi being taken out for the count. And I really just was juiced with that end sequence, because this means, I had a feeling Soma was going to, for the pride of Takumi, he has respect for this competitor, for this fellow, culinary artist and everything like that. He's seen the prowess the Aldini brothers wield, so of course he's going to take this challenge and he's going to get that Mezzaluna back for the Aldini brothers. And that was enough. That was goosebumps enough. But then when he turns the tables on Subaru and he's like, look, not only are we going to play for the Mezzaluna, I want all 99. of the previous, culinary tools you have stolen from your opponents. Whether he means to give them all back or whether he's going to utilize them for his own purposes or he and his posse and the like remains to be seen. But I was totally amped with that. Like, basically he's standing toe-to-toe with Subaru and being completely unfazed by this guy's freakiness and stalkerness and everything like that. That is the Soma I love. He knows his skills. He knows the lack of skills on Subaru's part because he has been, just as I say, and just as Soma has said, copying and pasting effectively all of his, culinary creations he has taken from other people. So there really seems to be a lack of originality there, and having Soma be like, hey man, I'm going to get that Mezzaluna back for Takumi, and then I'm going to get back all those other, knives and blades and whatever the hell else, pots and pans that effectively Subaru has stolen through this means. To know that, and to know that he's risking actually, quitting being a chef altogether. I mean, I'm pretty much willing to bet that Soma's going to beat the hell out of Subaru, and I just can't wait to see that, especially after this disappointment. I was so sad and so, heartbroken for Takumi to see him fail and to see him lose against such an opponent who I would almost say it borderlines cheating, because he's effectively just copying and pasting, as I say, the recipes and the, putting the ingredients together and creating these dishes that he goes up against these opponents with. He's just creating his own little spin on something they're already going to do. So he tries to outmatch them by just making his a little smidge better. And we see the judges, at least the one who was calling it into question, even he is like basically perplexed, saying it's almost, infinitesimal, this level of difference between these two dessert dishes. But effectively, they all vote for Subaru to win the Shokugeki. And yeah, I mean, I was gut busted seeing that happen, but the redemption came with that scene between Soma and Subaru, and knowing that Soma is going to hand this big hulking mother trucker his ass in a future episode. I don't know if it's going to be next week's episode or if we're going to have to wait 2 weeks to actually see the matchup, because we find out, two other competitors will be going up against each other in the next round as well. So, just bring it on, man. I can't wait to see Soma hand this guy his ass and get that Mezzaluna back for Takumi. And I think that will be really awesome to see, because it's like, when Soma went up against Mito Akumi, who is a favorite character of mine, one of the background characters, to see that she's completely changed over and is like, championing Soma now. It would be freaking awesome to see Soma beat Subaru's ass, and then out of that, having the Aldini brothers sort of, have a newfound respect and maybe a little less of Takumi trying to go after Soma for a Shokugeki showdown. Maybe they would align, as friends and things like that, compadres. I think that would be pretty freaking awesome. Even if they still have a sort of playful rivalry, I would love to see the Aldini brothers championing Soma the same way Mito Akumi has and such like that. So, pretty awesome episode, I gotta say. Again, that rap sequence with the one judge turning into a girl, made me think back to the old SNL days with Mike Myers, where he played like this German guy, and then every time he was excited, he would like pull at his shirt to imply nipples and be like, "I'm as happy as a little girl," Just weird things that enter your mind when you're watching this show, and how flamboyant and over the top it can be. But yeah, as I say, bring on Soma versus Subaru right quick. And I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below what you thought of this episode of Shokugeki no Soma ni no Sara, or the second plate. If you enjoyed it as much as I did, if you were as gut busted as I was that Takumi Aldini lost in this matchup, but are excited that Soma's going after Subaru now, and it's, all bets are off when that finally happens. So yeah, otherwise that'll be pretty much it for me on this. Hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.